Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today I'll be talking about the transit of Saturn, but this time with respect to the Arudha Lagna and also with respect to all other Arudhas which are there in the Kundali. So Saturn is going to transit to Pisces on the 20th March 2025. It is going to stay there for 2.5 years, and during this time it is going to affect the lives of all the people. Earlier we have analyzed it based on the moon sign. We have to actually analyze it from the moon sign Lagna as well as the Arudha Lagna. There is a subtle difference in the interpretation of all these results, because at times you may feel like they are contradicting each other. If you look at the moon sign video from Saturn transit from moon sign, you may realize that Saturn is in bad position from with respect to moon. But if you see it from the Lagna, you may feel like it is in the good position, and then from Arudha Lagna it is bad position. So somehow you need to reconcile all these results from these techniques, from these reference points. So basically they all mean different things actually, and what difference it has, that I'm going to cover over here. So let's cover the basic points. So first of all, let's note down all the important dates. So Saturn is going to transit to Pisces on 20th March 2025. It will exit on 23rd May 2027. Between this 2.5 years, it will go retrograde 2-3 times, that I'm not covering over here. And then Saturn's main results start coming when it enters the third Drekana. Okay, so the Rashi is divided into three parts. So the last part, when Saturn enters that part, Saturn when stays over there, maximum result of Saturn is experienced during that time. So whatever result I'm going to explain, do not expect this to be materializing from 30th March. No, it will be from this 15th June 2026, just after one year 4 months later. And during retrogression it will come back to second Drekana, it will again go back to third Drekana, and the second time you will experience these results would be from the 1st March 2027 to 23rd May 2027. So just note down these dates to understand at what time you should expect the results that I'm going to explain over here. Now let's begin with the with this chart. Okay, so Saturn is there in the Pisces, and during this time, the Saturn. So the technique, the rule over here is that Saturn is going to aspect three houses. So it aspects the third house, the 10th house, and the seventh house. And whichever house it aspects, if that happens to be 10th from Arudha Lagna, then there is problem with the then there is problem in the life of that person whose Arudha we are considering. Okay, usually it is related to the financial health of the person, the gains, the respect in the society, the problem in the workplace and the job. Basically 10th house relates to all these things: your respect in the society, your financial gains, your status in the society, what work you do. So all those things will be affected because of this transit when you are studying this with respect to the Arudha Lagna. This is what we have to keep in mind. Okay, so let's look at this point when Saturn is there in Pisces. So in this case, let me choose the pen to better. So Saturn is going to aspect the third house, and that third house happens to be Taurus. Okay, it is going to aspect the seventh house. That seventh house happens to be Virgo, and then it is going to aspect the 10th house, and that 10th house happens to be Sagittarius. Okay, and it is already there in the first house, that is in Pisces. So all these three houses, these four houses in fact, including the house where Saturn is located, if those happens to be 10th from Arudha Lagna, then there is issue. Okay, so let's analyze which all rashis will have issues. Okay, so Saturn is there in Pisces, it is in 10th from Gemini, So Gemini will have issue. Okay. When will Gemini have the issue? When there is Arudha Lagna over there, when AL is over there, because then Pisces happens to be the 10th from Gemini. Okay. Then second aspect of Saturn goes to, the third aspect of Saturn goes to Taurus, and Taurus happens to be 10th from Leo. So if Arudha Lagna is there in Leo, then these people will have problem. Okay, so Arudha Lagna Gemini, Arudha Lagna Leo. And then when Saturn happens to be, since it aspects the 7th house Virgo, so for Sagittarius people, Virgo is going to be the 10th house. So Sagittarius is going to be the problem. Okay. And then finally, for which sign Sagittarius is going to be, okay, Sagittarius is going to be problem. See, Saturn is going to aspect the 10th house of Sagittarius. So for Pisces Lagna people, there would be issue because it is aspecting the 10th house. Okay, so if Arudha is there in Pisces, Gemini, Leo or Sagittarius, then there is going to be problem of Shani, and this transit is called Kantak Shani. Okay, so whenever from Arudha Lagna you see that there is whether from Arudha Lagna you see all these signs. So this is called the Kantak Shani, when Saturn aspects the 10th from the Arudha Lagna by whichever drishti, by 3rd, 7th or 10th, or by its own position also. So Saturn's position, so out of all these four, Sagittarius position is called Ardh Kantak, because for Sagittarius, Saturn is there in the 4th house, and this is the position of Ardh Kantak. So it is bit better than other signs. Okay, in this video I am not going to capture all the signs, all the rashis, because only for these 4 rashis there would be issues. So I'll just try to rank these 4 signs, like which one would be good and which one would be bad. So first of all, the worst would be for Gemini. Okay, why Gemini? So because for Gemini, Pisces happens to be the 10th, and here let me again iterate. Gemini means if your Arudha Lagna is there in Gemini, then this transit is going to be bad. Okay, then the next worst is going to be Pisces. For Pisces people, it is going to aspect the Sagittarius, and Sagittarius happens to be the sign of Jupiter. Jupiter and Saturn, they are mutually neutral to each other, so that's why I have kept it as third worst. Then after that, Leo. Okay, so for Leo people, Saturn is there in Pisces. It is aspecting the house of Venus, which is Taurus. Okay, and Venus and Saturn happens to be mutually friends to each other, so there could be some relief in that aspect. So that's why I have kept it as second. And then finally Sagittarius, because for Sagittarius it is going to be Ardh Kantak. Okay, so this is how the ranking is going to be. So if your Arudha happens to be in Gemini, then you will be most affected. If it happens to be in Pisces, the next worst, then Leo, and finally Sagittarius. This is how the things going to be. Okay, now not only does the Arudha of the Lagna, that is Arudha Lagna, going to be used over here, we can make use of it against all the Arudhas which are present in the chart. Okay, so what does Arudha Lagna represent? So it represents your image in the society, your image in the world. So whatever appears to the other people. Okay, you may be good person, bad person, but if your Arudha is good, you'll appear as a good person in the eyes of society. Okay, so Arudha Lagna is for your own image, for your own self, but the other Arudhas, they represent the other things in your related to other houses. Like for second one, it is going to be the wealth and family that the society perceives. Then A3, A4, that I'm going to explain later. So before that, let us find out how do we determine all these Arudhas. So for this, you will have to use Jhora software. In the Jhora software, you see this kind of let me choose the laser. Okay, so you see this kind of chart over here. So AL represents the Arudha Lagna. Okay, you see A9 is the Arudha of the 9th house, A3 is the Arudha of the 3rd house, A10 Arudha of the 10th house, Okay, so in Jehora, when you make the Kundali, you see Arudha of all the houses. Okay, that you have to note down. Like for example, in this one, A10 happens to be in Gemini. Okay, it is affected. Gemini is affected, Leo is affected. So Leo happens to be A11. Okay, Sagittarius is affected, so A5 is over there. Pisces is affected, A8 is there. So these Arudhas will be affected. Now you can use some online software also to determine all the Arudhas. So I'm not going to explain any calculation for this in this short video. What I'm going to explain is what kind of problems you may face. Okay, so what kind of problem you may face is since Arudha is your image, and 10th from Arudha is what you do in the society. What is your respect in the society? And whenever Saturn aspects any house, it basically brings delays to it. It will prolong the execution of it. Okay, it will cause Saturnine qualities to whatever work you are doing. So you may look depressed, you may look lazy, you may look procrastinated. So all those things will be there. Whatever work you do, you will never end. Actually, you just keep on doing, as if you are delaying all the things. Okay, there will be sense of worthlessness because Saturn's aspect make the thing like it is really not worth doing. Okay, so your own image will become like worthless in the society if it is for the Arudha Lagna itself. Then there will be loss of money. There will be loss of financial health is going to be affected because of this. And then finally there could be office troubles also because it is related to the 10th house. So eventually you will see all these 4 points, they are interrelated to each other. Okay, but these four areas are the one which is going to be affected if it happens to be the Arudha Lagna in all those four signs that I just now mentioned. Okay, now not only for the Arudha Lagna, you can make use of this for all other Arudhas. Okay, so just like Arudha Lagna represents your own self, you can look at A2. A2 is the Arudha of the second house, and second house happens to be for your family, for your speech. So from the perspective of this one, even if A2 is there in all those four houses, suddenly you will feel like your family is losing honor, is losing respect in the society, or your speech is losing respect in the society. So all those results that are mentioned, you can apply it straight away to A2. Okay, then coming to A3. A3, this the third house stands for all the creations, all the enterprise that you do, and A3 is actually the tangible things that you create. A3 is the tangible things. Like if you are writing a blog, then it is the blog. If you are if you are creating a YouTube channel, then all the creations, all the videos that you have created, and it can be weapons also. Like third house is using that weapon. So like gun or knife, whatever weapon you use, so that is also part of A3. So if the affected part is with respect to A3, then it means your weapons could be deemed as ineffective or worthless. Okay, or you can say that your articles, whatever things you have created, that will become basically worthless. Coming to the fourth one, so the tangible, most tangible aspect of fourth house is your mother, your house, your vehicle. So suddenly you'll start facing problem because of that. Okay, uh, then coming to the fifth house is for your kids, for the recognition that you have got, all the awards that you have got. So suddenly your awards will look worthless, will start giving like people will say that you may not be deserving this award that you have got. And A6 stands for your enemies or your maternal uncles. So you will start getting problem from your enemies. Suddenly enemies will increase. Okay, they will become hyperactive, and you will face problem because of them. Then the seventh house is for your business partners, for your wife. So from A7, your wife will respect for your wife, your spouse, or your business partner. Some kind of tarnish will be there. Some disgrace could be possible during this time. Then A8 is all the risk taking activities, of whatever adventure you do, whatever risk you take, that is A8. So it will be deemed inappropriate in the society. Then A9 is all the religious things that you actually do. So the material aspect of religious thing is like the puja part you do, the karma kand you do, you go to tirth yatra. So all these things will be affected. And A9 is also for father and guru. Then A10 happens to be for the workplace. So actual office seat, the office desk, the location, the premises of your office. So that may get affected. Suddenly you may move to the smaller office or bad office. So people will start talking about like such a bad office you have. Then A11 is for your friends and all the gains that you do, the sources of your income. So they will start questioning about source of your income. And finally UL, the A12 house happens to be for meditation. So people will start questioning your meditation habits, your sleep habits, your donations. They will say that you are donating for some ulterior motives. So all those things are possible. So just make use of all these arudhas with respect to the Saturn transit which is going to happen. And see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Om Namo Narayana.